what's going on politically, I'm angry about that shit. Now, I'm not unhinged like these dumbass motherfuckers on the left. Can we just go in and shoot them too? Is it gonna work both ways? That's the dumb shit people are saying, like literally saying she deserved to be killed, dude. That wasn't okay to cause that chaos and to do that just so you can get attention. I'm in this news media bubble now, and it used to really drive me crazy when I did radio. I'm feeling that again. I'm seriously frustrated with my fellow Americans. We are doing a shitty motherfucking job. It doesn't end well unless it ends. You can't just report the fucking obvious.
I don't care what a critic got to say, I got them picking up the pieces. That mean you really playing with your life, I'm about to come and run it all back.
Just a motherfucking jump. Just go. Let's fucking go. This is the Outlaw Apostle Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Neff. I'm the fucking guy. And the other fucking guy that's got us all set up, ready to go is Chase. Chase, what's going on, man?
Not much, another beautiful Sunday.
It's a beautiful Sunday. It's Mother's Day. And happy Mother's Day to your mother. Tell her I said hi for me, please.
Will do.
Yeah, absolutely. Taking Dawn for Mother's Day. We are going to go, we got season tickets for the Phoenix Mercury, and today is a preseason game. Normally, I wouldn't be all that hip about preseason game, but it's our first time with the season tickets there, and it's different than any other season tickets I've ever had. Like, I had low-level season tickets, meaning there was the hockey was at low level.
Mm-hmm.
See, so the Toledo Walleye were like the lowest level of like professional hockey, right?
Yeah.
And I had season tickets for them, and all you got were tickets and a seat. There was no like special
Extras.
Premium shit, nothing like that going on. And, when you start playing with the big boys, man, they got shit going on, man. They have a lot of different premium offerings for people to choose from. And wow, because initially Dawn and I went in and we were going to a Suns game. We were at a Suns game, and then we stopped in, and because I wanted to get tickets when they were playing Indiana Fever, and I thought, hey, how about we just get a package, small package, maybe 10 games. Well, after we got going and talking, and maybe their salesperson was just that good, or I don't know. But we ended up with a whole season, and we ended up with some premium seating that was pretty amazing. We got to see it firsthand yesterday. I put it on my Facebook. You have it there. So the first one, that's a video. Yeah, Rashawn, you can play that for a second. Sean, very good dude.
Oh, we didn't mean to do a video, but we'll do a video.
We were just going to take a picture.
Start the Mercury season. It's going to be a great time. Tip off preseason's tomorrow. Home opener's on the 17th. So get ready to rock and roll. We're going to have a great time this year with some new X Factor members. So.
All right, let's do it.
So it was like an open house.
We're doing a video.
And there wasn't a lot of people there, but all the kids, a bunch of kids on the floor shooting baskets. That's cool, if you're a kid, on an NBA floor. Though that's literally, we're not just standing there taking a picture. Those are literally our seats. Those are the seats. And that's what's in front of us, which is, the stuff for the scores, or, the different teams have their people. It's not like high school where somebody's got used to have a little paper pad writing down who fouled and shit. This was the locker room. We got to go in the locker room and check out the training room. There's a little lounge back there and everything is so good. So, and I didn't take a picture of it. Maybe I'll take a picture. I will take a picture today, right?
All right.
With our tickets, it's included food. There's a different food area underneath, and it's very nice and well catered. And there's some more healthy options in there too. Some unhealthy options, but it's nicer. It's way nicer, and you don't have it's included in your ticket, so you're not paying extra for that kind of stuff. And except for drinks, if you drink alcohol, but it's a super nice little area. Well, he's given us this tour, and then he shows us this other. I don't know what it was called, but we might want to check into it. There's another little lounge area that's not included in our package, right? We have one of the better packages, obviously. The only thing better seating wise or higher end or more cost is the actual floor seats, right? So they have this, dude, we went into like this bar area lounge. It looked like high end New York, LA kind of a bar lounge. And they were pumping in scented air. You could smell the air. I swear to God, and it smelled good. I've never experienced anything like it. I don't know what I'll tell you, but one of these games, of course, I'll take you to a game or give you tickets, okay, so you can take a buddy or something. But dude, it's like, what the fuck is this? So I don't know how much extra that is, but I'm going to find out. And then as he's taking us to the locker room, there's a restaurant that they just put in, right? And maybe I misheard him. I'm going to ask him today. Did he say 5,000? But I thought he said 50,000 to be a member of this lounge. And I don't know if that's an annual or a one-time thing, but like you can't. Oh, and it doesn't include the food at the restaurant. It's just the membership to get in, and then your food and drinks cost whatever your food and drinks cost, right? There's that exclusive, a $50,000 membership into this restaurant. We didn't get to see inside, but I'm sure he would. But it was like, wow, like, are you fucking kidding me? And that's what I mean when I say, when you reach a particular level of success and you get to quote the 1%, just like our podcast, I am in life. I'm at the bottom of the 1%. So it's like I just walked in the door, right? And I've been there for a moment before I lost everything, but I didn't experience the things then that I'm getting to experience now or have for the last couple of years. And be able to see the things I've been able to see, that in that door, you might not have access to them all, but you're around just a totally different group of people. And you're like, this $50,000 like membership thing, for example, you're like, this is how these motherfuckers live. Or that lounge is like, wow, it's not a bad way to live, dude. I'm not going to lie, man. I ain't going to shit on it. I'm not going to be like, oh, but if they would just take that money and give it to the poor. Fuck no. Let them eat cake. It's just crazy. It's just crazy what we saw. So we're going to go to the game today, Mother's Day game, and have a good time. And even though she's not my mom, she is a mom. So happy Mother's Day to Dawn. Love you very much. And yeah, we had a great time doing that yesterday. All right. Here's the thing. Well, first, let me tell you, I'm going to struggle a little bit. My mouth is going to be a little bit dry because I'm having a very tough time with liquids right now. I believe I cracked the very back tooth on this side, lower, that I cracked the crown, because it's not just cold liquid, it's any liquid that gets in there sends me through the roof. So it's very hard. I have been able to do it, but with a straw, avoid that area. But at some point, even with the straw, I fuck up after so many sips, and it hits, and it takes a couple minutes. Like if I did that sitting here and that hit, you would know on the podcast that I wouldn't be able to fake it, that it's fucked up shit. So tomorrow morning, guess what I'm doing? Driving to Glendale area to get my tooth fixed or looked at, or I guess it hurt. It sucks, let me tell you. Anyways, so there is that. Things have been going off the rails for a moment now. And I believe maybe one of the strategies of the left is, because this did happen. So you have your people on the right, you have your people on your left, and you have the people in the middle, and then there's more extreme. You can break it down further than that, right? But here's the truth, that there is a good portion in both parties that are not like just hardcore. They're not hardcore. They, one party aligns with their values a little more. Politics isn't their thing. They vote, but they're just trying to get their kids to practice and, go to a friend's house for a barbecue, maybe get out on the boat, go fishing. They're just trying to live life, man. And there is a war. It's not, and I won't say it's not violent, but the violence has started and it's escalating. And I predicted it. I just didn't predict it this way. And I didn't know when. I thought it was going to be sooner, but it is later. But we do have this violence now that continues to escalate. And there's a war going on. And people in that middle, like I said, on both sides that are just trying to live life, they're not, they get tired of all this. And I think that's what the Democrats were thinking was going to happen, right? That they were thinking that people would get tired of it and get tired of Trump eventually. And like, I don't want to have to deal with this. I voted for him, but like, I just don't care. I don't want to, if we can just get rid of him and shut these people up, then maybe do that. I think that's part of their strategy, because I think that there was a little fatigue, and that is one reason why, he lost the election in 20, besides other reasons that happened that weren't real kosher, right? But we're here no matter what. And I think from my own point of view is that we are at a more desperate situation than I think a lot of people realize. We are at a very serious time when we've let things go, we've pushed them off, because it's real easy if you're the president, if you're a congressman, to let things go. Just another year. What's it going to hurt? Just another year. I can get reelected. I don't want to rock the boat. I don't want to have to do the hard thing. I don't want to have to cut spending, because that's what we should be doing. We are at a point, or we're past the point, right, where, like your own budget, the credit card is maxed out. When the credit card is maxed out, and all of them, and you have no more lines of credit, and you just can't extend it like the government does. But seriously, you're at the end of the line of your credit. You can't charge anything else. You have to deal with the problem. And that's where we're at in this country, that we need to deal with there's two steps. Both are big steps. The first step is the deficit. And these little steps that they've tried to make in the past haven't worked, where we'll get to a balanced budget in 5 years. We're going to get there. We're going to stop overspending a little less each year until the 5th year, when we're not overspending at all. Well, that hasn't worked. We need to go cold turkey. There is a budget, and we need to not go a penny over what we're taking in. That's how desperate this is. But that would be a very hard conversation to have. And it would be very hard for both sides in Congress to get a solution to, because we have certain obligations that are just obligations, just like you do with your mortgage. So you're going to have the Medicaid. You're going to have Social Security. You're going to have these programs, and whatever you think of Social Security, there's not this big money pile sitting on the side. There used to be, until they allowed them to borrow it and put in these fake IUs that said, hey, we're good for it because we're the United States. It's bullshit, man. But regardless of that, we have certain obligations, certain things where there's not a lot of cuts that can be made. There's not a lot. There may be some cuts in Medicaid, but not a lot. And as far as Medicaid, as far as Medicare, same thing. Social Security, you're maybe looking at some point, we do have to, if we don't, we're not talking about cutting benefits for anybody that's already getting Social Security, but for people like you, that your retirement age has to be adjusted from, 65 to 67 or whatever. Now, you can still retire, say, at 62 or 65, but if you retire sooner than the 67 date, you're going to be reduced. It's going to be a reduced amount, just like it is now between 65 and 62, right? But that's just to make sure that the program doesn't go bankrupt. That's what we're doing. And they call that, in Congress, they call that a cut. In real life, we call that fucking survival. That if we don't do that, okay, let's say we don't do that. Where else are the cuts going to come from? Where else are we going to save this from? A certain amount has to be spent on, the military. And we haven't been spending our money very, very well. And so we do need to cut waste, fraud, and abuse. But one of the best ways to do that would be like if you're cleaning out your garage, you take literally everything out of the garage, put it in the driveway, and put the stuff back in that you're going to keep. And when you're done, what's most important goes back in the garage. And you put the most important thing in first, then the next most important thing, then the next most important thing. And at some point, you're going to reach a point where there's a couple things you'd like to put in the garage that just aren't going to fit, that you just can't do. And they're really good things, but you just can't do it now. That's what's going to happen with the budget. Like it is a good program. We just can't afford it. That doesn't happen to you in your real life, where there's something you really like to do, a class or a program or place you'd like to go, something you'd like to do, but now financially, now at this time, it's not in your realm of being able to do. That hasn't happened to you? Of course it has. Because we live in the real world. I don't know what world these motherfuckers live in. But we need to do that with the budget. I know this is boring shit to talk about, but it's important because literally there is war. There's fighting, and it's going to escalate. And I'm right there. I'm totally honest. I'm happy with my life and things that are going on. There are some things that are a struggle right now, and I've had to say to myself, Troy, this is what you talk about all the time, man. You always talk about doing the hard. Shut the fuck up and do the hard. Because other people in business, in my business, are going through the same struggles. Some of them are going to fold. Stay strong, fight through. You're going to own part of their business because they're going to fold. You're going to take some of their customers if you keep going, if you keep fighting. Because hard times separates the people that can deal with the hard time from the weak-ass motherfuckers. It just separates them. So instead of looking at this hard time as, man, really, again, can I catch a break? No, man. This is a time I'm going to crush it. I'm going to crush my competition. And it's going to suck to do because it's work. It's hard. Do the hard. But so I'm happy, though, over my life, what things are going on, doing things. I'm enjoying life and enjoying business, even the difficult things. I'm also, to be honest with you, man, like what's going on politically, I'm angry about that shit. Now, I'm not unhinged like these dumbass motherfuckers on the left, but I'm over it. I'm over their punk-ass bitches, like just being assholes. You're listening to the Outlaw Apostle Podcast, and you're listening to the host whose voice is not real good when I can't have a little bit of water because of a bad tooth. But anyways, look, I'm just going to ask you, same thing. We need you. We need you to hit the like button. We need you to hit the share button. We need you to hit the subscribe button. That's it. Simple. Then just have a great day. God bless. Did I tell you Did I tell you the story? It happened after our podcast, or I didn't get to talk about it in the last podcast because we were doing the interview with Richard. So but I don't know. Maybe I told you personally about the woman at my knee appointment. Okay, because this fits right in here with this stuff. Okay, not just budget stuff that we're talking about, but just the fight that's going on. And it is a fight, and it's escalating. And I'm, you know me, I'm like almost daring the shit to something to happen. You know, I'm wearing my shirt, I'm wearing my hat. I'm daring some dumbass motherfucker who thinks it's okay to key a Tesla might also be dumb enough to think it's smart to run up on me and get in my face over my hat or my shirt or something like that. Because I tell you what'll happen. I'm swinging. That's it. We have a conversation. You really get up and start yelling at me, and you came at me, and I don't know you, and you just run up on me? I feel threatened. I'm going to defend myself, and I'm swinging. So that's kind of where I am right now. So I was at an appointment for my knee. There's a procedure called 10X, and it's TENEX that they're going to do. We're going to do on my knee, and it's going to, it's going to be like maybe a 4 to 6 week recovery. It's less invasive. It's not like surgery, but that's what we're going to do. But I was there. This is before the appointment. I check in, and a lot of times I forget what I'm wearing. I forget what hat I have on. I'm just going about my day. I ain't thinking about my hat all day, right? And there was a woman sitting, and it was pretty full. The place is pretty full, but there was a seat next to her. And she was wearing a shirt that had the WNBA symbol on it of the chick.
Yeah.
And, that's real prominent this year. They're pushing that. And it said Portland on it. Portland. It's code. Anyways, Portland on it. And she was a bit larger woman, because a lot of them tend to be over 50 for sure, probably late 50s, closer to my age, maybe early 60s, something like that. And how do I know? Because I just know she was gay. I don't care if she was gay. I decided to have strike up a nice conversation with her, because I'm a nice guy. I like to show people, like, y'all don't know, we're not who you think we are in your preconceived mind. And I don't realize I'm wearing my MAGA hat that just has the initials MAGA on it, right? I'm not even thinking about that when I sit next to her and I start up a conversation. And I said, hey, did you happen to see Caitlin Clark over the weekend play the game in Iowa versus Brazil? And she said, yeah, I saw it. I said, yeah, it was a great game, awesome. And, my girlfriend and I, we really got in the WNBA, and we started to go back and forth. And then she made comments about my hat, made comments about my education level, that I was in a cult, and she started to ask me questions, and I answered her. I'm like, look, you don't know what you think you know. But she was super rude. And it just, it got a little, we both raised our voices, because I'm not going to take some shit from some woman, because I don't care. I'm all about equality. You know what I mean? People were talking about that this past weekend here, or at the end of the week, Trump and some female reporter or something. I'm like, you mean he treated her just like you would treat a male reporter? Is that what you're whining about? Because Trump don't care. He doesn't care. He's not treating a woman reporter bad because she's a woman and he doesn't like women. He's treating reporters because he doesn't like certain reporters. It's just it. Like, stop making it about something it's not. Well, so we had this going back and forth, and I guess this whole assumption, and there is this big assumption on their part, like, because I supposedly more people who are woke liberals have a degree than people who vote for Trump. So they just think they're smarter because they have a degree. And to me, a degree don't mean shit about how smart you are or real education. And then, like, she even got off into like Indians and history, or like she said, she called, we're all immigrants. I go, I'm not an immigrant. I was motherfucking born here. What are you talking about? I'm not an immigrant. Well, she's going back talking about the Indians. I'm like, we ain't giving the land back. The fuck you think? Like, just stuff like that. It's nuts. But she was surprised by some of my answers, especially related to, LGBTQ alphabet soup issues, in that, look, I don't care. I literally don't care. The only issue that we're arguing really about now is in sports. Men pretending to be women in men's sports. And she did not like that when I said they're not women. They're not women. They're pretending to be women. And I'm okay with letting them have that choice in doing that. But there's boundaries to it. That's all. That's all. She didn't like it, but she kind of understood. She would have done better, and we'd all do better if you just try to understand a little bit. Just a little bit. But it's not. It's gotten so bad now, I don't know that will be fixed. The escalation, again, is totally out of control. I don't know if you've seen, I know I might be all over the place, but it's just things popping in my head because it's just this much has happened this week that I've seen. The family, I believe, is it Ashley Babbitt? The girl who was killed at the January 6th. So just put the woman who was killed on January 6th. Her family sued, and yeah, it was Ashley Babbitt. So her family sued, and the government's paying them some money. And on X, they're going nuts over this. Well, the cops should sue, and this, and this, and this, and this all. She was unarmed. She was going through she was inside, but there's windows inside of buildings too. And I think there was a window broken out. I don't think she broke it out, but she was crawling through it, and a cop shot her. And I believe it was a black cop. Dude, if that role was reversed, are you kidding me? But you don't get to just shoot somebody. Like, if you want to arrest her, go arrest her. Did she resist arrest? Should she have been there? No. But does that mean it's okay to shoot? Then if it was okay to shoot, why didn't they shoot more of them? And then when we have these people protesting at Columbia, and they're holding people hostage and taking over buildings and breaking windows, can we just go in and shoot them too? Is it going to work both ways? But that's the dumb shit people are saying, like, that literally saying she deserved to be killed, dude. I'm not trying to defend people, trespassing. And yes, there were some instances of other violence, but that's not what was happening with 3,000 people. Might have been what was happening with 100 people or less. You don't punish the other 2,900 people like you punish those. It's just not how it works. We have different levels of how you get punished. That's why we have different grades of felonies and misdemeanors and what qualifies. It's just how it works. But I literally thought that the nastiest comments that I've ever seen over that kind of stuff. And it's hard to read. And then you see a case here, you can pull it up. ICE arrests a woman and a crowd descends on them. They're arresting a mom, a daughter, maybe, and they're in the street. And they get surrounded. They had to call the cops. I believe it might have been in Maryland, Massachusetts. Yep, that's it. You got it. Yeah, so they're trying to make an arrest, and a crowd descends on them, and the crowd starts asking for a warrant. Now, this is how dumb these motherfuckers are. Are you meaning to tell me that you think when a cop is arresting someone near you that you have a right to intervene and ask that cop if he has a warrant? You have a right to get involved? You can film it. You can document it. You can, observe. You can make a complaint. There's lots of things you can do. But screaming at the cops and then to start attacking the cops and pushing and shoving and going after the cops as they're making an arrest. So you only care about cops at January 6th, but these cops are thugs. The cops that were at the detention center in New Jersey, they're thugs. So they're only good cops, and you only defend cops when you tell us it's okay. Is that it? That's how that works? Otherwise, cops are bad. But the January 6th cops, they were just doing their job. Those were the good cops. The bad cops. So the other one that happened is the New Jersey thing that happened, where you had 3 congressmen and then a mayor get involved, and the mayor had no business being there. It's not part of his job duties. And they went into the detention facility. They did after everything that happened, they did eventually get in to the detention facility. Yeah, the Newark mayor arrested. There you go. Not that. Right there. So this was just nuts, man. So they're protesting outside, some group of protesters. Congressmen come. They want to look inside. And they're not getting in right away because they didn't call ahead, like that morning, say, hey, we're headed over. We'd like to check things out, because they just wanted to set up something like this. They just wanted to set up chaos, right? So as a bus gets let in, a bus with immigrants on it gets let in, they push their way through. And one of the congressmen, it's been said, was body slamming someone. Okay. Here's the truth about the video that I saw that's out there, and there's a video that we haven't seen yet. This black female congressman, she's right there in that picture, in the red, right there. That's her. She doesn't body slam someone like as in pick someone up and body slam them. What she does is like sumo style, right? Where she's using her body to bang up against a ICE officer. Like bumping him and hitting him, trying to move away and push her way through. She's like this. So whoever said body slamming, maybe that wasn't the right term to use, but that's what happened. And it was her body. So that does make sense why they described it like that, and they just didn't know what other word to use. But it's not like the wrestling, picking somebody up and body slam. If I say body slamming, I mean I'm picking your motherfucking ass up and slamming you off the ground and slamming you. That's what I mean by a body slam. That's not what happened. But that doesn't mean what she did was okay. That wasn't okay to cause that chaos and to do that just so you can get attention. That's what all this shit is for, motherfucking attention. This is a facility that was closed, that was owned by a private company, that the government's got to put you're not letting them send us to El Salvador, right? We're limited to taking them to Guantanamo. We got to put some of them somewhere. These are the facilities that we're opening up now and renting from this private company to be able to house them in the meantime. You got to put them somewhere. And this is it. And you want to check out, why is it you think they're being treated so bad? When's the last time any of these motherfuckers went in to any other prison where Americans are held and see if the American prisoners are getting adequate care and food and stuff? They don't. Because they don't care about those motherfuckers. That's not what the story's about right now. So they even care more about criminals, not just than Americans, but than our own criminals. They care more about foreign criminals than our own. I don't know about you. Call me crazy. But I care more about our own criminals and the potential for rehabilitation, or that, that they're fed properly or whatever. They don't care about that. They're just looking for a gotcha moment. Can we go in? Can we see something, snap a picture, come back out, report something that we didn't think was cool? Can we do that? And they're just throwing shit against the wall, man. So they have this idea, this result that they want, and then they're trying to find the crime. They're doing it backwards. It's not how you investigate. They're doing it backwards. You see something bad that happens, then you go and investigate and see where that leads. You don't just have your answer and then go in and try to find something that meets that answer. It's not how that works. And I guess the mayor, why did the mayor want to be involved in this? Because he's running for governor. That's why he wanted to showboat, get some name recognition out there, and to prove I'm against Trump. If I'm governor, I'm going to say fuck Trump. I mean, literally every single thing, everything that Trump proposes, they're against. And now Trump has done, he's done some good things recently related to, Trump hates veterans. He's cutting the VA. He just proposed a big center in LA that's going to be able to house like 3,000 to 6,000 homeless vets and help them get benefits and help them get back on their feet and get health care, and then, eventually get moved out of the facility and be able to just be back in life again. And redirected some money that was going somewhere else to some other bullshit program. I don't remember which. You can easily find out. But anyways, that's what he was doing as far as that goes. On abortion side, there's the abortion pill that he campaigned on it, that he wasn't going to limit people's access to the abortion pill. And in fact, Biden's FDA had filed suit in court to make it so like they're fighting some governors, Republican governors. Okay. Trump's letting that fight continue. Well, that's an abortion bill. Like, how are you going to be? You're going to become pro-abortion now because Trump did something, you're going to become pro-life now because Trump did something pro-abortion? He keeps putting them in this box by doing different things. Oh, and then this week too. So there was a not finalization, but where they've come to at least to the main part of the framework for a tariff deal with the UK, right? So they've worked that out. What the criticism, where's his tariff deals? So he does a tariff deal with the UK, one of our biggest, trading partners, probably our biggest, after China. So he does that. Oh, that's just low-hanging fruit. And then the funniest thing I heard is, well, Biden could have done that. Could have? You mean he didn't? There was something he could have done because it was so easy. It's low-hanging fruit, but he didn't do it. Now, think about it. If you were going to pick fruit, you and I go into an orchard and we're going to pick fruit, what the fuck are we going to start with? Don't we start at the bottom and go up? Isn't that how you pick fruit? And because maybe, especially the stuff that's on the lower end, if you don't pick it first, it might get knocked off and end up on the ground, and it's not worth shit to nobody, right? So easy or not, it still needed to be done. And you build upon successes. So it just doesn't matter. You say, where's the trade deals? He does a trade deal, and it's still not good enough. There's nothing ever good enough for these people. Nothing at all. And they're just flat out mad. We're back to Gestapo. We're back to Nazi. All of these things every single day at a high level. And you can only insult people so much or poke the bear so much before the bear's going to be like, fuck you, and snap. And that's where I feel like we are getting very close to that. If we're not already there, we're on the edge. Because, like I said, if somebody did the wrong thing to me over my hat, if you were that fucking triggered, because look, if I see you with a Biden hat, a Kamala hat, if I see you with an AOC hat, you know what I'm probably saying to you? Nothing. Because I don't care. I mean, now in my head, I might say something to Dawn. I might say something in my head and think you're, it tells me I think you're a fucked up individual. But I'm not going to walk up to you and be, aren't you embarrassed? How dare you wear that? I'm not going to get in your face about it because it's stupid. Act like a motherfucking adult. Like, hey, I'm not going to care. And that's kind of where we're at with this stuff. Some of them are willing to do stupid shit. And I used to have one of my friends was big, dude. He was like 6'5", 6'6". Used to ride my Harley with him. Bald head, good-looking guy. And but he was big and ripped. He was probably like 240, 250. Like he was good size. He wasn't just big and thin. Like he had athletic and then a little bit more muscle on, right? And I remember we were in the local bar one time and just this dude was just picking at him and just like out of nowhere. Neither one of us knew this guy. And he's talking shit to him. I'm like, is he stupid? Does that happen to you? Because out of everybody in the bar, if I had to go in and pick somebody to fuck with, he'd have been last on my list. Wasn't afraid of him or anything like that. I'm not afraid of people like that, but I'm just saying he would have been last on my list. I'm not going to start there. He goes, yeah, it happens. And, obviously alcohol and shit too, which makes it even dumber. Because if you're fucked up and you start shit, like, I try to warn people and tell them, I'm sober. This is not going to go how you think. You are fucked up. You needed to be sober to have a chance here today. Now your chances went from maybe a chance or maybe even kicking my ass to it ain't today because your ass is drunk. That ain't going to work. So, yeah, people actually do that dumb shit. So, maybe you have people that are dumb enough to do that. There are people on the left dumb enough to approach people like me. And I can tell you it's not just me. It's the people that watch this podcast and are like me and that like my social media and that do business with me, my clients. Most of them are conservative and MAGA as well. Although I will help you with your health and fitness if you're not MAGA. But most of them are. And I just know my friend group, my circle. They're no different than what I'm talking about today. They're ready too. They're ready to swing on you if you do something absolutely stupid and then you do something stupid in front of their kids or just be a dumbass motherfucker. I'm just saying more shit's about to go down. We've seen these little things happen. It's going to blow up. It's going to be bigger. It is not okay for a crowd to surround cops doing their job and to put their lives at risk like that, where they had to call the local police in, for help. It's not a thing, man. And those people need to be prosecuted and not just let go and, oh, we're not going to pursue the charges, or, they just went through the procedure and then it's dropped. No. Let them do 2 weeks. Let them do something so that they know that there is consequences. Because when they know there's no consequences, which is the world we live in now, then they're going to keep doing it. And they're showing us they're going to keep doing it. Because in their mind, it's okay. It's worth it because they're stopping Hitler. We're allowed to lie. We're allowed to attack cops. We're allowed to use whatever means necessary to stop Hitler. That's their train of thought. Seriously. I'm not making that up. That's literally their train of thought. Because that's how the election was. It was okay for us to lie about Hunter's laptop and have 51 people in intelligence sign a letter saying it was Russian disinformation, and to do that knowingly and lie to people close to an election because we're stopping Hitler. It's okay to do that. That's their whole reasoning for it. The whole reasoning of what they did with how they handled Biden and getting him out of the race. Now, Biden was back out in public this past week. He didn't do a good job. He's not better. He's still the same guy that got up on that stage and did a lousy job in the debate. That guy is still here. He is not cured, okay? And he's not going to get any better. But, Biden this and Biden, and he could have won. And he knew he couldn't win, which is why he got out. And who pushed him out? Republicans didn't push him out. We have no ability to do that. Democrats pushed him out. Nancy Pelosi pushed him out. Obama pushed him out. He got phone calls. People with the money that donate said, we ain't giving you no more money. We want you to think about stepping down. And then, he did this great thing by stepping down. That's what he said he was going to do in the first place when he ran the first time. He's going to be a one-term president. But he didn't do that. And so they didn't have a primary. He decided to run again. And there you go. Y'all brought it about yourself. But you pushed him out. We didn't push him out. And his poll numbers were bad. And then when Kamala came in, her numbers were bad. They lied about her poll numbers. They lied to her about her poll numbers. The interpolling of the campaign knew it was not good. He was like, wouldn't you rather have Kamala now? She couldn't even run her campaign, dude. Look at the money that she spent on podcasts. Do you know how much Trump spent on Joe Rogan's podcast? Nothing. Kamala's building sets for these people, spending $100,000 or more, or giving money to celebrities to show up at a campaign stop. And then they don't even sing. Man, those people were pissed. They're like, we want to hear Shakira or whoever the fuck it is. We want to hear them sing. Nope. Not what happened. She couldn't even run that right. You think things would be better with her right now? There's a lot of good things that have actually been going on if people wanted to really look. The April jobs numbers have been up. China coming to the table now. We're having talks with China this weekend. I know people don't want to give Trump credit for anything, dude. So we have the conflict now of India and Pakistan, which has been going on, I think, since the 1940s. I don't understand the whole conflict. It has something to do with Kashmir and shit, but that's not history that I've studied or looked up. They don't like each other. You think, you have one country, Pakistan, that's Islamic, and one country that's Hindu. That I understand. And other than that, they don't like each other. So there was a negotiated truce. Trump made a post and took credit for it. And now Trump's a liar because India came out and said Trump, didn't have that much to do with it. It was just us. It was bilateral. They're just protecting their own sovereignty. That's just how they treat shit. Pakistan, on the other hand, did say that Trump and the administration, Marco Rubio and others, had a great deal involved with it and that it wouldn't have gotten done without him. But no, now the media, because they would rather believe India, who has a motive, than our own president when it's corroborated by Pakistan. Like literally named them. He didn't just say the U.S. He named individuals and credited them for help. And India's just downplayed it. And so instead of being happy that two nuclear powers are maybe settling down a little bit and that that the situation's not going to continue to be escalated, instead of being happy about that, attack Trump. That is, am I the only one that thinks, I can't be the only one that thinks this is insane. That's just nuts to me, how people can just be that ignorant, brutal, mean, vile. I don't know, man. I really don't. But that's what I see. I see, well, even back, it seems like things are getting maybe where with Ukraine and Russia as well, where they're talking about a serious ceasefire and the end to the war now. It didn't happen on day one. What Trump said was wrong. Didn't happen on day one. But you know what he did do on day one? And he's done every day since? He's engaged with it. He's tried to end it. He's tried to end it. One more thing. There's a whole bunch of things, dude. Every single issue is Trump. So a lot of problems at Newark. New Jersey is fucked up, dude. So the Newark airport, and they've had some problems there with computer outages, power outages. It's been bad. Dude, their equipment, get this, they're running programs on floppy disks. Now, you've been pretty much, because you build your own computer and stuff, don't you? Do you do that? You take the picture? What do you?
I mean, I know a good amount. I'm not like specialist in any case, but I know somewhat about computer shit.
But in your entire life, everything that you've dealt with in your, 26?
27, yeah.
27 years. In your 27 years. You've never done floppy disk shit, have you?
I did, but that's just because a lot of my cousins were a lot older than I was, and I hung around them.
And they just had 10-year-old computers.
Yeah, we were pretty poor, so everything was a little
But even so, when you were a little kid in dealing with it, 20 years ago.
I mean, I had no idea what was going on.
Right, but I'm just saying, but it was old then.
Yes.
That's the point I'm trying to make. It was old then. It was not the latest technology.
Correct.
20 years ago.
Yeah.
When you were 7. That's the shit they're still using for these airports.
That's honestly really crazy.
Well, not only is it crazy, Chase, they've spent money to upgrade. Where's that money? Where's the upgrade? Where's the technology? Supposedly, we've spent money to fix things, and we don't get it. That's what Doge was trying to point out, is we've tried to do some different things here and spend money and upgrade things, and where is it? You know, the program isn't implemented. It was supposed to take 1 year and $5 million. 5 years and $25 million later, it's still not finished. That's the problem that needs to be fixed. And so with the mishaps that have been happening, right, at the airports as well, okay, this is not a Trump problem. This is not he fired people. How about, did you see this? This is really crazy. At this airport, because of stress, because they're union, right, because of stress, they can just take off for 45 days for like personal, like mental health.
Like the pilots of the airplane, or?
No, the air traffic controller people. So they're already short-staffed before Trump ever became president, and they were not cutting air traffic controller jobs anyways. They haven't been adding them fast enough, but they can just leave their fellow co-workers even more in a mess by saying, I'm going to take off for 45 days, guys. My mental health, I can't deal with this right now. The fuck out of here. What the fuck is that? Dude, sometimes we're just a country of pussies. But this isn't a Trump thing. It's not even a Biden thing. Biden could have done something about it. He didn't. Trump could have done something about it in his previous term. Obama could have done something about it. Bush could have done something about it. Clinton could have done something about it. This goes back 40 years. Somebody could have done Congress. You have the purse strings. Every member of Congress, point the finger at yourself. Stop pointing it at Trump, because it's been decades now that this has existed. Like, really? With all this oversight that you do, you have a right to do it. How good is your oversight that this never came up in your oversight in the Transportation Committee? It never came up that, hey, we might want to upgrade to something a little bit better. The phones that the workers take into work are better than the computers they're using. By a long shot. It's not even close. Not even close. But I just wanted to bring up a bunch of stuff, and throw it out there. And it's being tied together just by, that's what I'm trying to say. I'm in this news media bubble now. And I've done that since doing this again. And it used to really drive me crazy when I did radio. And it's now like I'm feeling that again, where I'm seriously frustrated with my fellow Americans. We are doing a shitty motherfucking job. And I'm willing to de-escalate, but I'm also willing to defend. So be careful which way you come. But for the good of everyone, this nonsense about Hitler and the Gestapo and Nazis needs to end. It needs to end. Because no conversation can continue with anyone that says that. It's immediately just it's you can't reconcile. That's the word I was looking for. It's irreconcilable. We can't reconcile our differences when you say that. That's a deal breaker. That's a deal breaker right there. And yes, Biden back out with racism and sexism. That's why Kamala lost. because we're racist. We not only elected a black president, we elected him to successive terms. And racism existed before Obama, during Obama, and after Obama. But you have to at least acknowledge this, that it was that the racism that exists had to be a whole lot less for him to be able to get elected than it was in 1960. If racism was at such a high number, he wouldn't have been able to get reelected because people wouldn't have voted for him because of race. So when we say there's been progress. We're not saying that it's been eliminated, but progress. And sex, are you kidding me? Here's the thing that Democrats need to know that I'm going to share. There is going to be a woman president. And I believe in the near future. Maybe the next time we vote, maybe not. There's a good chance because it may be J.D. Vance. But if it's not J.D. Vance on our side, there's a very good chance that it could be a woman. So let's say, because it's going to be open for both sides this next time, right? So both sides are going to have big primaries and probably have anywhere from 8 to 12 people running when it first starts out, right? My prediction is at least half of them are going to be women, and at least a third of them are also going to be a minority of whatever. That's my prediction. And so there's a very good chance that, we could have two women running against each other. Republicans will vote for a woman. Do you know what kind of woman they won't vote for? A liberal woman. They didn't vote for Kamala because she's liberal, not because she's a woman, and not because she's Indian or what else was she? Black, and she was a few different things, wasn't it? Jamaican?
I have no idea.
I don't know. I don't know. She is whatever she is. It's all good. Mixed. She's mixed.
She's mixed, yeah.
She's mixed. Just call it what it is. And it's fine. People didn't vote for her because of her liberal policies. It had nothing to do, absolutely nothing, with race or gender. And I know, as a Republican, I've been ready to vote for a good Republican woman for a good amount of time now. Over the last 20 years, at least. And we've had some that I thought were pretty good, and we have some that, like, if you put J.D. Vance aside, we have several women. We have a deep bench. I like it. Say what you want. I like Kristi Noem. I like Tulsi Gabbard, who was a Democrat who became a Republican. Why not? Reagan did it. Democrat became a Republican, became president. Trump, a Democrat who became a Republican, who became president. Could do that with Tulsi Gabbard too. There's a number of good women. So don't think that Republican men won't vote for a woman. They will. They'll vote for a conservative woman. They'll vote for a woman that's for gun rights. They'll vote for a woman who wants a strong military. They'll vote for a woman who wants to get the house in order and be a good fiscal conservative. They will vote for a woman. There is no doubt in my mind. None. But they still don't want to accept their role in the election yet. We need to move on from the election, honestly. That party should have already done their introspection and made whatever changes they made, because I say this all the time in your personal life, in my personal life. Doesn't matter if somebody did me wrong. I got to take responsibility for it. It's the only way I can make any changes. I have to accept responsibility for allowing it to happen. And if I don't, it's on me. It's on me. You can't keep blaming other people. That's what the Democrats keep blaming other people and outsiders. You did this. You did this. You got to accept it first and then deal with how to fix it. Now, I'm going to go have an enjoyable rest of my day. That's what I'm going to do. You got plans?
Just a little bit of editing, and then I'm going to go see my mom.
Go see mom.
Yeah.
Good deal. All right. Let's go do that.
Hell yeah.
This is the Outlaw Apostle Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Neff. I'm the fucking guy.
Whoa! Who knew I would make it this far? They hated, they never believed me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball. I know I make it look easy. Yeah, Mayweather with the defense. I don't care what a critic got to say. I got them picking up the pieces. That mean you really playing with your life.